Hello, this is Sudarshana Starshine Star, and I'm welcoming you to my part 3 of the series that I'm doing today. It's going to be called Part 3, Top 10 Reasons California is Effing Failing. And that's not my title, as I said in the previous Part 1 and Part 2, and they are going to be short like this one, under 10 minutes. I got that title and the original list, which you can listen to in Part 1, from a person called Hatching History on TikTok. So I thought their list was very interesting. So I posted it in Part 1, and then I've been speaking about it. I've had to stretch this out because I have to keep these under 10 minutes. So I begin all of my clips with the 3 opening prayers in Sanskrit and Telugu, and they are short. It is to bless, uplift, purify, and sanctify you, me, and this clip. They are the Guru Mantra, the Ganesha Mantra, and the Gayatri Mantra. Om, 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 Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmahi Sri Guruve Namaha. Om Suklam Bharataram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chatobhujam Prasanavaranam dhyaye sarva vignopashantaye. Om bhurbuva suvaha tat savitur varenyam bhako devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo naha prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Wonderful. Well, I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record to keep starting this series off with the same topic, but I keep being cut off as I'm trying to talk about this, and then I have to continue it on. So I want to be really clear. I was speaking about the Pindar, Pindar. And please go listen to the first 2 clips if you don't know what I'm talking about. But the Pindar, as I was mentioning, is the name for the man chosen to be, if you visualize the satanic hierarchical pyramid with, like, you look on a $1 bill, the US $1 bill, and you see the floating capstone that has the satanic one eye, or sometimes it's called the Eye of Horus. And I've explained that on my YouTube channel underneath the Real series and the Controller series. You can check it out. It's the dazzling of the light, or just go to YouTube and type in at Sudarshana Starshine Star. It's pretty interesting. Why not join it? And why not like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell? I'd really appreciate you. Thank you. So that hierarchical structure has, of course, the ruling dark force, Satan, at the top. But right underneath that, to whom Satan is gives messages and plans directly to, is a being called the Pindar. And I'm not, absolutely sure of this, but due to my research and different things that I know, it seems like the Pindar could very well be the gray popes that are, each pope, there's a black pope, the front man, there's a white pope, which is the front man, not that much power. The black pope, more powerful. It's the satanic military commander of the satanic military force of the satanic Vatican called the Jesuits. And as I mentioned, you can go look on my YouTube about 10 months ago, scroll down, you'll see something called Jesuit Oath. I read it, you can hear it word for word, exactly the horrific, beyond belief, just outrageously horrible things that the Jesuits promised to do and what their oath is. It's very eye-opening. And then the Gray Pope is the most powerful. And that's who I'm thinking the Pindar is, directly related to, of course, the 13 satanic papal royal bloodline families, whom I mentioned in a series I just did this week, a 6-part series called Snap Out of It. I mentioned the robber baron families, or the Illuminati families, because our mafia families that we think are the heads that rule the world, but really they get their orders from these papal satanic families who were taken out in 2017, 2018. Anyway, go listen to my YouTube stuff. You'll find out more about that. I'm talking about the Pindar here, who I believe the last one was the last gray pope that we had and that we'll ever have in this satanic structure that is being scoured from the earth. and it has been, but right now you can really see it happening. Pepe Orsini. And I spoke about, I hate to keep repeating this, but go listen to the other clips I just put up, and you'll hear why there's a bear on the California flag and what that has to do with the ancient satanic Orsini clan, originally called the Maximus clan out of ancient Rome, seed of the serpent, children of Cain, all of this originating from, like those satanic papal bloodline families. They're not really Italian, despite their names like Borghese or Medici or Pamphili or Conti. They're not really Italian. They are originating from children of Cain, and they first popped up in force in ancient Phoenicia, in ancient Phoenician city-states, and then in ancient Sumer, and then in ancient Babylonia, and then they went into ancient Egypt and infiltrated that, then in ancient Rome, blah, 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 until it covered the earth realm pretty much. Over the last 26,000 years, we've been under the sway of this dark force of Satan really blooming here. So why I mentioned that was, in terms of talking about California, is I was talking about the three families that ostensibly have ruled. Once again, I'm saying they're not the top bosses, but it has been Newsom, Pelosi, and Getty. And I just talked in part 2 of this series about how I knew Gavin Newsom and how I knew some of the Gettys, Billy Getty, Gordon Getty, how I knew them, my connection, and what I had to say about that. You should go listen to it. So, and I mentioned how Nancy Pelosi was Gavin's aunt, and was her father was a mafia boss, the mayor of Baltimore, Maryland. And but I want to tell you something about the Pindar, which is really gross, but you have to learn something thoroughly to learn it. What the Pindar is actually what they considered. I know it's so sick, but they consider it to be the actual phallus of Satan. That's what the Pindar is. They consider that so honorable. And going along with that, which is really hideous, but that eye that you see, that they call the eye of Satan, the all-knowing, all-seeing eye of Satan, or sometimes called the eye of Horus, like I mentioned. And then I've mentioned before that you see the celebrities all covering one eye, or making a circle of their thumb and forefinger with the 3 other fingers sticking up to make the 666 around their eye, or they make the peace symbol, which is really from the Vril Society, that V, from the NAZI Vril Society with Maria Orsich, and that's a whole nother topic. But they'll place that framing their eye. That's the other way they're paying homage to Satan. So, but that eye is actually not really an eye. It's actually pretty, hate to say it, but it's really ANUS. That's what that is. And that's how, when you read about the corrupted satanic Freemasons and all this sickness going on, what they do with babies and children, and how they initiate them, and through sodomy, and what that actually does to a baby's body or young child's body, what that does to the brain, how it splinters it, and how it's so handy for MK Ultra. MK is mind control from the NAZI. And they've been doing that since well before the 1930s, but we can see that really coming out at that time and continuing on through Operation Paperclip. You can go look that up with Werner von Braun, NASA, which we know is not a space agency. NASA is completely satanic and steal all the trillions and all the funds they get for supposedly the work that they're doing, but really they steal it for the dark satanic elites, black projects, off-budget projects that they build, the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases within the underground cities. And I'm going off on so many tangents here, but really got to know that. So Kamala was really Kamal Aroush, the son of satanic Senussi general out of Libya. Kamal, the male, is not around. And the thumbnail I'm showing here is when Kamala Harris was picked up, and yes, was unalived after military tribunal. At the time, talking about the supposed civil rights activist John Lewis, who supposedly died July 17th, 2020. But that person was not good. That person was executed. So sorry to say, that's the truth. So Kamal Aroush, with the picture you see in the thumbnail is a hideous clone. Anyway, I got to end this. God bless you and yours. I'm sending much love and big hugs to you and yours. I'll see you when I see you, and bye-bye for now.